This afternoon, 44% of Ghanaians expressed misgivings with ongoing Galamsey fight in latest poll as the Interior Minister has ordered the transfer of all district commanders in areas with Galamsey.
Also this hour, Central Regional Minister Eduama Ochre has received briefing on the circumstances surrounding the death of Constable John Kwabena Dogbe, who drowned during an anti-Galamsey operation on the Offin River.
Also to come, Supreme Court says April 9th to hear a case seeking to halt ongoing processes on whether the Chief Justice should be removed from office.
It's Friday, the weekend is here. Hello there, welcome to News Central. I am Mawina Egbeta.
And I am Kemeni Amano. The news starts right now.
We're starting off on the conversation of Galamsey because as many as 54% of Ghanaians have expressed misgivings about the ongoing fight against illegal mining, arguing the fight has either not improved or gotten worse. In a latest survey by Global Info Analytics, the Mahama administration is fast coming under pressure to tackle head-on the menace which continues to devastate the environment. Already, Interior Minister has announced a new raft of measures to deal with the menace, tasking the IGP to remove all district commanders with Galamsey ongoing in their area. Let's take you over the phone lines right now. We'll walk you through the numbers as well as we have a conversation with Musa Dankwa. He's the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Is joined via the phones this afternoon. Many thanks, Mr. Dankwa, for speaking to us. Walk us through really what these respondents were seeking to tell you. As many as 44% saying that they've not seen a lot of improvement, and 10% as well saying that the fight has gotten worse.
Right. Thank you very much for having me on this. You know, the Galamsey issue has been trending recently, and I think we were right in asking voters their views with regard to the situation at the moment. The poll shows that 44% of voters said nothing has changed. They haven't seen improvement. And 10% said it's worse. But then about 38% said it has improved, whereas 9% have no opinion. Now, if you drill down the data into the Galamsey area, it gets a bit interesting in the sense that in the Galamsey region, only 28% are saying it has improved. In fact, 25% said it is worsened, and about 42% said nothing has changed. So a lot more work needs to be done in this area. Even though there's slight improvement, it is not really good for the government as far as the fighting for Galamsey is concerned. We have to see a bigger, a very rapid improvement in the numbers than what we are currently seeing.
Right. Now, I know it's early days yet, but with respect to the Galamsey fight, how big of a challenge will it be for this particular administration?
You know, environmental issues are quite big everywhere. I mean, and to stop them, it takes a lot of effort and commitment. And I think they have to grab the bull by the horn. I mean, certain steps have to be taken, some radical steps. And that should include the killing of the airline that allows mining in the forest. I think that has to be done. And then let the police also take action. And I quite like the instruction that any police commander who has Galamsey going on the street should be removed. That will serve as a big deterrent. You have localized it, giving message to people to actually take steps rather than giving it to the chiefs and other people to kind of turn a blind eye to it. I think this is a very good move the government has taken if they are asking the police commanders to be removed if Galamsey happens in their backyard.
And we'll get into that point a bit more with respect to the latest from the Interior Minister asking that directors be or police commanders in these respective regions be removed. But I asked this question in relation to how big of a fight this is going to be into the future, considering the narrative before the elections and subsequently the narrative. We've seen a lot of civil society groups continue to build up pressure against the government going forward. And that's why I asked that question as to how big of a challenge it will be vis-a-vis the approval rating of the Mahama administration at this particular point in time.
No, it's very important because, I mean, his election, to some extent, was preceded by some of these issues on Galamsey. It was a big issue for the election in 2024. And for him to fail on it, and I think that would be a very big block on his performance. He has no choice but to succeed in this one. It will be a long-term fight. You cannot finish it in a period of time. It requires a lot of changes to be done, but it has to be done. He has no option than to succeed in the fight against Galamsey.
Just quickly on other matters, because I mentioned the president's approval rating. This latest national tracking poll as well has revealed quite interesting details as with regards the political atmosphere we're in right now with respect to the NPP and possibly if elections were to happen today. Just walk us through it again, what Ghanaians have been telling you in this latest tracking poll.
You know, in summary, about 66% of Ghanaians approve of the way Mahama is doing his job. Only 23% disapprove of his performance. If you compare this to last October poll, in October poll, only 36% of Ghanaians were approving Nanado, and 59% were approving. So you can see a complete turnaround for the president's approval in terms of what Nanado was doing and then where Mahama is now. Now, in terms of who would win an election, if there is one to be a rematch of the 2024 election, the poll shows that Mahama would improve upon what he got in the last election. He probably get around
council is behind them solidly, and so they should press on and ensure that they are able to deal with the Galamsey menace, and to also discuss with them some operational procedures that need to be adopted as a matter of urgency to be able to deal with the fight. We do know that about 2 days ago, the command during an operation in the Asina-Saman area lost one of its Constable Doge while attempting to arrest illegal miners who were mining on the Opioid River.
I see, Akwesi. Now, what progress has the police made in the investigation so far?
Okay, so police have begun investigation into the incident, and the family of the deceased officer who are in Accra have also been officially notified about the incident, and the police administration here have assured that they are with the family do whatever that would ensue in the coming days. And so today, when the minister visited, he did recognize the hard work that is already being done by the command, and also mentioned that in the coming days he expects them to even intensify their war against illegal mining, because the minister is not too happy that from the Asen Kaso area through to Biaso in the Upper Dintra West District, two communities that share borders with the Western North region. We have these illegal miners mining in water bodies, mining in the heart of communities, and then mining in forest reserves. And so he sent a caution to illegal miners that the police and other security agencies are coming for them, and so it would be better that they begin moving from wherever they are conducting their illegalities. Now, let me also mention that when you come here in the central region, in fact, it is really getting so serious, because you get to this mining site and you get to see people wielding a heavy weapon. Just a few days ago, you know, we have MP and the central region here have been doing some work on illegal mining, and they were reporting on some of the activities that are being done by these illegal miners. We go to a particular site and we could not even bring out our cameras to take even a single shot, because almost everybody at that particular site was heavily armed.
Very well, Akwesi. How about we take a listen to the regional minister, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Okay.
I knew very well that at the time, even before the body was retrieved from the bodies, it had gone viral, the information had gone viral. At best, this is what Ghanaians know how to do. Instead of going to the aid of those who are suffering, they rather stay back and take pictures to become the first to have thrown it into the air. It's unfortunate, though. I am down because I've been in the region as a regional manager for less than 2 months, and I was confronted by 3 menaces: sanitation issues, Galamsey, and one other thing that I wouldn't like to say in open. I was very fortunate to have your commander, our commander, because it appears that the Galamsey activities are predominant in his enclave. And my engagement with him all the time has given me the assurance that we were going to do this together. Little did we know that very soon we are going to lose one of us. I've said that I'm down, but I will not remain down there. For what I'm seeing now, with your strength and your readiness even to go deeper and fight high and hard, I think you have also raised my spirit as well, and I'm going to do this fight with you. I've also consoled myself with the the song you just gave me, this is the way you wanted to be. You've signed a bond to be a police officer, to be a peace officer. But is that what the people see in you? The only time Ghanaian will hear about the police officers when they are taking some 1 city, 2 cities somewhere. But the good work that you do, nobody talks about it.
Penny is the Central Regional Minister. Now, we've been hearing from the police command, and we want to share with you details of that. Mawena, what have they been saying in their latest statement?
Right, and so they've been providing a bit more with respect to context in relation to the death of Constable Dogbe. Let's just try and run viewers through that quickly. And the Ghana Police Service says that it is investigating circumstances surrounding the death of 6/30/55 General Constable John Kwabena Dogbe, which occurred on the 2nd of April. That's 2 days ago at Domiabra in the Central Region. They say that preliminary investigation has revealed that the constable was part of the Central North Regional Police Anti-Galamsey Task Force deployed for duty at Asin Domiabra. He slipped and fell into the Ofin River while he was dismantling a Shanfan machine belonging to illegal miners. With the help of some divers, his body was found after hours of intensive rescue efforts and conveyed to the St. Francis Xavier Hospital, where medical officer pronounced him dead on arrival. The body is being conveyed, as we know, to the police hospital's morgue for preservation and autopsy. The administration is in touch with the deceased's family to provide the needed support in the difficult times. But they had a bit more updates with respect to the work which was being done by that task force before this unfortunate demise, that they were able to dismantle 1 Shanfan machine, take custody of 2 pumping machines, 2 excavator batteries, and 3 excavator keys, and their chassis numbers as well. And so that's the latest from the Ghana Police Service with respect to this particular matter.
Now, let's take all of this to Deputy National Director of Arusha Ghana, Daryl Bosu. We all know that Arusha Ghana has bemoaned the country's inability to put in place sufficient measures to effectively address this issue. Daryl, a good afternoon to you. Let's start off with what we've just heard from the police command, giving more context to the issue. How does the death of this young officer come to Arusha?
A good afternoon to you as well. I am actually very sad to hear about the incident and also what has happened. I mean, we had Major Muhammad come in the past also dying at the hands of also mining-related issues and all of that. And it's really sad that we as a country are watching on all of this to happen. You know what I'm saying? And all the people involved, and the fact that we need to go to the ground to try and resolve it. A lot of people are losing their lives. I talk about the number of children who have died in pits just trying to get to school, just trying to go and play. Talk about the women going to their farms, and also the people who have died on site during the activity itself. We need to see the state protecting us as citizens. Now, officers who are also mandated to go about their constitutionally mandated duty, go and then die, it's not really coming back alive into their family. And I think if the state is failing to ensure that we deal with this as it is now, then, I mean, there's no need for us to really put our trust in them anymore. I think it's a very unfortunate incident, and maybe this should get all of us up in arms, really, and deal with the issue once and for all. We can't keep losing any more lives to Galamsey.
Indeed.
A few people are enriching themselves, and why should the rest of us keep dying? Some are dying now, and we know that a lot more of us are going to die because of Galamsey-related risk exposures like contamination of our water bodies and food systems. I think we need to do more than we have already done.
Indeed. And Daryl, I hear you say that, it doesn't matter whether or not a death is accidental or it is intentional. It's important that we keep our people safe by all means. But, let's look at the general effort towards the fight against Galamsey. We know that the Interior Minister has given indications about the change of police commanders in areas where Galamsey is very rife. What do you think about that move and the impact it could have on the fight against illegal mining?
Yes, I think, the Interior Minister's statement or directive is very much, we welcome that directive. And for me, I am very much interested in rolling it out and implementing it. And this is very important because we all know that the fight against Galamsey has had a major gap, and that has to do with poor enforcement and compliance. Somehow, community people report the incidents of people taking over their farms or rivers to the police. Nobody is there to assess. We have policemen also across most of these mining prevalent areas. There are barriers, checking on excavators, moving left and right. There are police patrols in communities where mining is happening. But we are really not seeing any active steps to address the issue. So it means that either the commanders in place don't know what they are supposed to do, or they are just not capable to do their job. And if you recall, some weeks back, we were calling for the Eastern South commander, police commander, and also divisional commander in Chebi, all based in Chebi, to be removed. And I think, for me, we think that the government taking steps to really ensure that we reshuffle the leadership there, because I think they become too comfortable, they know the system, and it's not really dealing with the issue. They are rather possibly benefiting from it. That's why they let the miners continue with all the impunity that we have been seeing. So I think we are very excited, but I think we are going to wait for the government to roll it out. Then we see how this changes the campaign, also the fight. So far, there's a lot that needs to be done. We are doing a lot of good talk. We're seeing a lot of things, but we need to see it translate into real results. Indeed.
Daryl, at the same time, we hear from researcher Musa Dawa, that about 44% of the Ghanaian people do not think that there's been any change as far as the application of efforts is concerned on illegal mining. How reflective is this as concerned?
Indeed,
44% of the Ghanaian people, or at least those who were sampled in their latest survey, Global Info Analytics reports to us that that chunk of the sample say that they really do have misgivings about government's efforts towards fighting illegal mining, in that they don't think anything has changed. From where you sit as stakeholders, how reflective is this?
I think I agree with them, and I share in their sentiment, because we have also not been very happy. Because this government has been with us. They were with us on the streets prior to getting elected as the government of the day. They were with us talking about state of emergency. They were with us on the streets demonstrating against Galamsey. They were with us talking about LI 3462. They take power and then they're asking us to give them more time. I think we don't have that time. Nobody intended to give them a honeymoon when it comes to addressing Galamsey. And so far, there's been a lot of talk, but I feel that they are just beating around the bush and allowing these miners to get away with a lot of things. And that shouldn't be happening. They are in power. They've already sampled a lot of solutions that civil societies really have put out there, some for the previous government and also for now. Nothing has changed in terms of what we are confronted with, and the solutions that we have been proposing are still the same. We have not seen the government take any of them very seriously. It was only yesterday I heard the Honorable Minister talk about the fact that we need to treat these people as dangerous terrorists. And for me, I feel that we have really maybe undermined the kind of problem we are confronted with. But if they are now seeing what we need to do, seeing how dangerous these people are, then I expect them to also step up their game. And seriously, if people are not happy, people have misgivings, it's well in order, because we also don't believe that they have shown good faith towards the fight against Galamsey.
I see. Daryl, just a couple of things and then we can end our chat today. The first one being whether or not it's still important or necessary for the government of the day to declare a state of emergency, but also what else could the government be doing at this time to push forward, to fast forward the fight?
No, I think, if you listen to the Honorable Minister's media briefing yesterday, it really tells us that, look, we have even delayed in instituting a state of emergency, particularly for our forest reserves and our rivers. If you look at how these tax, I should call them, are taking over our forest reserves and with impunity to even think that they can, stand up in arms against state officials who are supposed to protect residents from the Forestry Commission and the police. It tells you that there's something wrong. They are getting emboldened, and we are just playing around, not taking them seriously. So I believe it's even more appropriate now, more than ever, that we actually implement the state of emergency so we can get down to the ground and clear all of this. So I believe we really need to be listening, and everything we've been doing, tracking excavators as has been proposed, also changing the more or less and reviewing the licensing regime. They are all very, very important. But we need to ensure that we have short-term swift actions, and the state of emergency will help us do that. We've talked about the need to also ensure that there is significant improvement in the manner in which we even allow certain areas of this country to be mined. And that's why we are still insisting that LA 2462 must go, not be amended as the government is currently doing, because to amend it is not keeping faith with the people, particularly when the government said they will repeal it. So these two issues of state of emergency, repealing LA 2462, are immediate swift actions we need to put in place. Then we can look at the long-term systematic issue of reviewing the licensing regime, looking at the leadership for police, leadership for the Mineral Commission. All of these things are very crucial to the fight, and each one of them is important. So we need to take each one very seriously.
Indeed, Daryl, I'm going to have to let you go at this point, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Indeed, indeed. You're still live on News Central. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories to stay.
And you're welcome back to News Central. We're targeting or focusing now on the fight against illegal drugs in the country. Let's bring you details of it because the Volta North Command of the Ghana Police Service has destroyed some 61 bags of cannabis and securing a court order to dispose them off. The 61 sacks, which contained 40 parcels of narcotics, were set ablaze at a refuse dump site at Bivegbe in the Kokwa municipality on Thursday. Let's get on to the phone lines right now. Faisal Abdul Idris is my colleague who's following this particular subject matter. Faisal, talk to us about this particular distraction because the Kokwa area quite notable for some of these illicit drugs. Talk to us about it.
Yes, so these consignments, according to the police, were seized between 2023 and earlier this year by police patrol teams and also the various checkpoints mounted on the roads within the jurisdiction of the Volta North Police Command. They indicated yesterday that most of the consignments were picked around the Fando and Hohoi municipalities, areas that have been noted largely for the trade of illicit drugs, particularly marijuana. So the police, after securing a court order yesterday, proceeded to destroy 61 bags, each of which contain 40 parcels of the drug, which has since been confirmed by the relevant authorities. And so yesterday they proceeded to burn them at a site located at Bivegbe. They are indicating that having done this, they are also proceeding with the prosecution of persons that have been arrested in connection with some of these items, even though there are still some people who are at large, because most often when they are encountered, they abandon the loads and run away. And so some people were never apprehended, but those who have been apprehended, I am told there are 5 cases currently going through court proceeding, and so they'll continue with the prosecution of the 5 persons in connection with the items. But they are also indicating that they are now intensifying their efforts in combating illicit drug trade, particularly within this particular enclave of the Kokwe and the Pando areas. And so yesterday, they burnt the 61 bags. We are yet to know the street value of these, the quantity that was burnt yesterday, because the authorities are telling us that they are still working on the price, particularly because there are variations. If it is sold in Kokwe area, it has a different price. If it's sold somewhere in Accra, these also have a different market value. So they are working on that. By close of day, we should be having the total market value.
Right, Faisal, thank you for the details. Let's hear from the police commander for that particular district and what he's been telling you.
There have been a few instances where some people have been arrested at Pando, and then a few also in court. And then those cases are before the court. So once the forensic lab comes to check and then it is positive, then they are now charged with the offense of dealing in narcotic drugs. Since it's been already tested, the sample has been taken. Now once the exhibit stores are becoming choked, then we need to free those portions to enable, in case we get other ones, to put there. We would not accept narcotics. We all know the effect of narcotics, its effects on the youth. And so we're sending a strong warning to those involved that once you are caught, you'll be dealt with. The law will catch up on you. It's better to abstain from narcotic drugs. So this particular exercise is not the end of the prosecution. The case is still in court.
Now, this afternoon, the Ministry of Health and the Food and Drugs Authority are conducting an operation to destroy 20 million cedi worth of seized opioids that were illegally imported into the country. The consignment primarily consists of Red 225, a potent pain relief, widely abused by the youth. A team from the Ministry of Health, led by the Minister, Kwabena Akando, is overseeing the destruction process at Vega DW Enterprise in Ashaiman, Newland. Our correspondent, Stanley Niblewu, is on the ground now with a bit more on this story. Stanley, good afternoon to you. What can you report from Ashaiman?
Just as you've indicated, a couple of weeks ago, the Ministry of Health and then in partnership with the Food and Drugs Authority confiscated some consignment of opioid at the Tema Harbor, being brought in by some individuals meant for further shipment or further transport to Niger and Mali. So I must say that when the incident happened, the Health Minister, Kwabena Akando, actually intervened and indicated that he is not going to allow under his watch for this country or our ports to be used as a transit point for opioids, and taking into cognizance the fact that these consignments or these drugs are being heavily abused by the youth. And so for him, they have to seek court order to destroy the tons of opioids that were actually confiscated at the Tema Harbor. And so this morning, the excise, the court has granted the order, and then they have come to a private incinerator firm at Ashaiman, Newland. The firm is called Vega DW Enterprise. This is where the destruction is taking place actually. So a couple of minutes ago, the truck that went to carry the opioids from the Tema port just came in, and then the items are being offloaded into the incinerator for onward destruction. So the minister himself is here. We also have representation from the Environmental Protection Authority also here. We also have a representation from the Food and Drugs Authority also represented, overseeing the exercise to ensure that every consignment or every opioid that is being confiscated is being destroyed. As I speak, there are two main types of opioids that were actually confiscated at the Tema port. One is called Temakin 150, and that one is yellow in color. And then we also have the red 225, which is widely known to be abused by the youth. As I speak to you, the minister and then the other resource persons here supervising the project are yet to speak to the media to tell us, beyond this distraction, what happens.
Well, Stanley, we cannot hear the minister's answer to your question. But if you could reposition yourself properly, then perhaps we would. Stanley Niblewu joins us from Ashaiman, where destruction of some opioids or drugs containing opioids were seized earlier and are now being destroyed at a regulated ground somewhere in Ashaiman. Well, unfortunately, we are unable to reconnect with Stanley to hear the response of the minister who is supervising this project, this destruction process himself in Ashaiman, but we'll bring you more a little later. Right now, however, I would turn attention to some partisan politics story, because members of the New Patriotic Party in Kaswa who are supporters of Kennedy Japan say they feel unsafe and want police to offer them protection. The group has accused former Kaswa MP Mavis Hawa Kumson of unleashing physical attacks on their members.
According to the group led by its coordinator, Solomon Bento, dedicated members of the party who supported Kennedy Japan's presidential candidacy admission have become targets after sharing their frustration with the Michael Quay committee. He says shortly after the meeting, an individual who was part of Hawa Kumson's security team approached one of their members and threatened to eliminate him, and that even though the matter was reported to the police, nothing was done. He told TV3 News that in recent development, one of their members, Prince Labi, was physically assaulted at an event organized by the party at the Ottoman's electoral area by the same person who issued the threats. The team wants the NPP's national leadership's intervention, as they believe that development will derail the peace-building efforts being conducted by the party ahead of the 2028 elections.
Internal, create unity. asotoro betuma abam bo akola kitwa asabi afina no so won family obo ne bra senye ni colleague bi obo na na say wo mini say wo beku na say promise na threat na odekura akola no so obeku no eno na abam pepepe.
We were solving internal problems and didn't think it would escalate. Eyewitness says the guard spoke to Howard before he attacked him, and it looks like the promise to kill him is what happened. We plead with Michael Quay's team to stop this issue if they want peace in Kaswa.
Honorable Michael Quay team no, omo ya aware say omo person mo create unity a. 6 years no me e koso sisi ya Kaswa no. In fact, yasu itosukoko obi anum. Some nonsense must stop.
The victim who was assaulted, Prince Labi, told TV3 News that his life is in danger and wants the police to take action.
Sa boy no cars will be coming no. Me hu so fia wa car no. Aba me change street say, "Sa so nya Kennedy Japan echi di pa no bobo masutro. Obubo mi wie ya na awakum sika say wabo na wie ride on."
The man who promised to kill me came from Howard's car and attacked me. My life is in danger. Howard has promised to kill me. I have reported to party head. I won't die for the party.
Mini party pen for Kaswa kasa. Obi mama nu ye akasem bia den akire me. Me so me yenipa me fiabusem. Se party nti na me wa me wo ba me jai me kra ento ma ha won kumi.
That and so with the NPP, a political scientist and member of the opposition NPP, Dr. Makoba, said the party can only bounce back stronger if it purges itself from what he calls bad elements within. He's also been commenting on the latest Global Info Analytic poll analyzing the future NPP presidential race.
All the others have single-digit support. Kennedy is only double digits. Baumia is far ahead. So there's no argument there. He's the one they have to field. That is if everything goes okay. And that is what I will caution them on. They better allow people to speak what they know, what they are upset about. It has to come out and try to remove the bad elements in the party. They have to remove them so that people will be happy again to come back. If the so-called bad elements are still in there, no. Then nothing will change. So it is in the interest of everyone, especially those who want to run, to remove these people from the party. If it wasn't for Nanado, he would be even more popular. Because the anger with Nanado was reflected onto Baume. Whatever anger people were showing towards the president, he reflected it on the vice president too. So if he wasn't vice president, it will be more popular, I think.
We'll now head to the courts. As you well know, on April 9th, the Supreme Court will hear the case surrounding the removal of the CJ. Remember that the issue had gone to court to determine whether or not the president should have given the CJ, Gertrude Tokonu, the opportunity to respond to those 3 petitions against her before the consultation with the Supreme Court, the consultation with the Council of State took place. Let's have a chat on the back of this development, and our chief legal correspondent, Joseph Akable, is here with me in the studio. Now, Joseph, talk to us about this case and then where we've got to at this time.
In fact, there are 2 cases. There's one by Ebenezer Owusu, a private citizen who has taken up the matter against the Attorney General. Then there's another one by Vincent Asifua, the Member of Parliament for Otafo. Now, both cases raise the same issues. They are making the point that, as far as they are concerned, they think that the president should have heard from the Chief Justice before forwarding the petitions to the Council of State for consultation. Now, the Vincent Asifua case is the injunction application that has been slated for next week, Wednesday, whereas the Ebenezer Owusu case is the main case that is scheduled for hearing. Now, the question on the minds of many is, are those cases still relevant? Are they still, are they moot or not, in the light of the fact that the president has opted to grant her a hearing, asking that she submits responses for it to be forwarded to the Council of State further consultation. Now, there are those who say that, well, the president is entitled to be heard at I give you a hearing. So some say that, well, a case will be made that the court should be allowed to deal with the matter. Then there are those who say that the president's position is quite clear that the chief justice is entitled to be heard. And so all those are matters that we expect to engage the attention of the court next week, Wednesday. There's also the possibility that the MP could decide that, well, he's no longer interested in pursuing the injunction application. And so that is also another matter that could come up next week, Wednesday. And
then, I mean, speaking of this issue of the president, given the petition to the CJ ahead of the hearings that you have just, described. What have we heard from the quarters of the CJ? We know she asked for 7 days. The president gave her 10 days. What's happening? Do we know?
We understand that her legal team have already started working around the clock to ensure that within the timelines, responses are sent, and that they believe strongly that she has not done anything to merit her removal from office as the 3 petitions claim. And so they will be fighting this through. Once the opportunity avails itself for them to present their side of the story, they'll be making it available to the president.
And we're still counting down to those 10 days.
Yes.
Indeed. And at this point then, that response may or may not come before we hear from the Supreme Court on Wednesday. That's what we are looking at.
Yes, that's the possibility. But the question is, the whole action is simply seeking to have her being given a fair hearing. And the fair hearing has been extended anyways. And so within that period, there's a possibility that a response could go through. But either ways, the court will be seized with the matters of the question of whether the process should be halted or it should not be halted. Then the other substantive case also dealing with the same matter.
And then also in the mix is that petition against one other justice of the Supreme Court. Talk to us about that and where that has got to at this point.
At that stage, that is also at the very initial level. And it's very interesting that because he's another Superior Court judge, he's not a Chief Justice. So it would ordinarily mean that it will have to be forwarded, when the president receives, he has to forward it to the Chief Justice for a prima facie determination to be made. And so that is happening in the context of a situation where the Chief Justice herself is a subject of another investigation. Then she would have to also make a determination in relation to one of her colleagues, Justice Gabriel Scott Palmer.
It sounds very interesting and hectic for the Chief Justice, doesn't it? But always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Joseph Akable is our Chief Legal Correspondent. We'll be discussing issues around the removal of the Chief Justice, and he talks to us about how April 9th will be a very decisive and a landmark of sort, depending on how the Supreme Court takes its decision. Remember, he creates the scenario that's indeed the declarations being sought in those writs to the Supreme Court appear to have been already undertaken by the president, and we're still waiting. We're still waiting on the president to receive those responses or first comments from the Chief Justice. And even before that, she herself also, Moena, would have to decide on one of her people at the Supreme Court.
I think it makes for, like you were telling Blair, an interesting piece in terms of our legal jurisprudence history.
It's a good plot twist.
What happens in this particular case? Does the law provide for somebody else to be able to take care of that? Should we be considering a conversation in that front as well, and all of that? And even now, the Chief Justice is expected to empanel
after she's responded, and the
whether or not she will respond before. She will be expected
for the Supreme Court. Indeed, you make a valid point there.
There's a valid case to halt the ongoing
for April 9th.
For April 9th, she will empanel the justices of the Supreme Court to sit on those particular matters.
I do agree with the people who say that the CRC should take a look at that. Perhaps the
good timing,
really,
good timing, because they are going around taking consultations, feedback with respect to the Constitution and what must change, and this has happened now. Perhaps quite astute individuals, they can look that way, and then we see what solutions they'll proffer.
You're absolutely right.
April 9th is the day. We look forward to it and what the arguments will be for and against. But that's our bulletin for you this week. And today, I am Mawina Igbeta.
I am Kemeni Amano. We'll be back same time Monday, but I'll see you a little later today on Ghana Tonight. Do join us at 7 p.m. for News 360 as well. Bye-bye.